Hello and welcome to episode 1 of the Wicketnick Gamescast. I'm joined by Christian, I'm Nick, and we're going to talk about some video game news and about what games we've been playing.
Yeah.
First off, of course, GDC is now, it's actually sort of over, and PAX East is starting in Boston. But we're going to talk about some of the news from GDC this year, and one of the big things was VR. It seems to be the year of VR.
Black. Yeah. Black, yeah.
It's sort of like what 3D was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, exactly. But that didn't make it.
No. So it's going to be interesting to see if this is going to be a thing that stays. And I think in a lot of ways, having talked to a couple of the people who work on different things, like the Oculus guys, they seem to be very aware of the fact that for a lot of normal people, it's probably going to be the first time they put on one of these new VRs.
Yeah.
If that works or not, it's going to be a huge thing. They're not going to be like, oh, that was the Oculus. Now let me try Morpheus and see if that works. if like normal people who are not into tech and games, when they put that on, if it works, great. If it doesn't, it's over.
Yeah. Exactly. I also watched the Fine Brothers, I think they're called, or the Fine Bros. They got this kids react to, and then they also got elder people react.
Yeah, there's the Reacts channel.
Yeah, the Reacts channel, and they did it with I think it was the Oculus Rift.
Yeah.
And they were just walking around, and they could totally see themselves buying one of those.
I think a lot of people feel that way.
Yeah.
The thing with those and going to demos as it is now is that you have the Oculus guys. Like you could order the dev kit and get that, but if you went to one of the trade shows and tried it there, they're of course very helpful. They put it on, make sure it works, calculate all that stuff for you, and give you a Coke when you're done and everything. And for me, that has been a great experience. Now it's going to be more of, well, is it going to be something I want at home?
Yeah.
Because I think that's going to be very different. You're going to buy the games, you're going to make sure it works and see how much it is. And stuff.
Because I see the VR as a big upgrade from, for example, the Move controller.
Yeah.
Because they also tried a little bit with that, and now it might come to use again with the VR, because they're using it so you can hold a sword and a shield.
Actually, one of the demos I tried for Morpheus was a sort of a Knights demo, where you had two Move controllers. And one was your shield, and one was your sword, and they were kind of your hands actually, because you could pick up, a sword if you wanted. You could pick up a crossbow, so you would do that and fire. You would stand still, but you would swing, and it would totally, swing, and you would hit. The stall would be there. At the end, there would be a dragon, and it was super awesome that you could look around and you could totally swing your sword.
Did you expect that it was gonna to lag a bit?
I had already tried Oculus Rift at that point, and it didn't. So I thought it was going to be sort of the same. At the end, I don't think I really thought of that.
No.
I was like, let me try it. The thing about trying the Morpheus for me, it's really weird, because I remember I just laughed out loud several times. I was like, what is this
and
thing?
The picture of you're also like one big smile.
It was sort of crazy, and it's... at that point, I think they were very close. I would prefer the Morpheus a little bit more. It felt a little bit more finished. The Oculus still felt more of a dev kit, which it was. And I felt it was a little bit sharp and stuff. But the end, that didn't matter, because actually what my favorite thing at that point was a game that I tried on the Oculus, which was the E-Valkyrie demo, which was pretty much like being in Star Wars.
Okay.
And that was awesome. And one of my colleagues was like, you should try this, and we went back, and he had already played it at that E3, and was like, let's go back and play it again. And it's like, that was 2v2, you were in a plane, and you can do whatever, and it's like, oh, here, try this, and I started doing barrel rolls and shit, and I was just like, I almost was puking, because and I was like, I gotta fly a little bit more normal, and then we flew around 2v2, tried to shoot each other. And I mean, if that had a Star Wars skin, I would not play anything else ever.
No,
that was
because
insane.
I also heard that people kind of get a little bit noxious when they play.
You can get a little of that motion sickness for sure, but for me, it was when I just played, when I flew around, it wasn't a problem.
No.
When I started doing loops and shit,
then
I started feeling, and I did feel a little bit after some hours, but I think flying in a jet fighter, flying around, if that feels real, which is what the game is supposed to do, of course, it's a little bit more.
Working. Yeah.
But I guess we'll have to see what
it's kind of exciting to see what it's going to be like, because also with Oculus Rift, Mark Zuckerberg actually bought it, and then he said, "No, you're gonna take your time to develop your games and stuff." But I think that
Facebook bought.
Oculus, exactly. Facebook bought it. But I think that it also, besides the gaming part, can be something big. I heard that they were gonna join the hospitals and Facebook. So whenever you needed a doctor, you can went online on Facebook, and then you could actually call a doctor, and you were feeling that you were sitting in his office.
I mean, there's a lot of use for even just like what some of the demos they've showed now has also been. I've seen there was a Danish TV show that showed it to some elders where they gave them a roller coaster ride, which was just sitting, and then you get to try that. Maybe you don't want to jump in a roller coaster. Maybe you want to try to be in a shark cage without the chance of. I mean, it's pretty safe, but I've seen a video where the shark gets in the cage, and I don't want to do that. Maybe so. But anyway, one of the news of GDC was that Valve came out with their own VR headset, which I actually thought wasn't going to happen. I thought they were going to work with the other ones, especially Oculus, but they have announced sort of working together with HTC, and has announced HTC Vive.
HTC Vive.
Yeah, one of the funny things that actually, which makes sense, is that it's going to work with phones. So if you're like sitting in, I think they're thinking of that situation if it's, the family and the dad is playing this and real life is happening, that then he can get a text or something and it can actually tell him while he's playing. Because otherwise, if you're wearing that and you have headphones on, you're not going to hear.
You're only in the world of the Oculus.
Yeah, I've tried sitting here and I'm playing video games with headphones on, and then it rang on the door and I didn't hear shit. So I mean, I can only imagine if you're wearing a full visor and everything. But yeah, they announced that. There's a lot of opinion pieces, of course, on the internet. People are trying it out. One of the things was there was some talk about Half-Life and Portal and stuff, and they had the funny thing was Valve's presentation. It was called something with like physics or something, but it was on the 3rd of March, which is the 3rd month, at 3 p.m. So people were like, Half-Life 3! And that didn't happen, but that would have been awesome. Especially if they'd done like, oh, we're here to talk about physics, which was what the panel was. And then it'd be like, oh, and here's a physics model from, when we're working on Half-Life 3. And, it's just like, just move along. It's like, people would have, if they just didn't acknowledge more than that. But it sounded like nothing was talked about Half-Life 3. But they did have a Portal demo, which wasn't Portal 3, but it was a VR demo, and people seem to be excited for that.
And also about Half-Life 3, because I saw that I think it was Valve who actually made a hoodie who wears Dr. Gordon.
Yeah.
And that when I saw that, I was like, they're doing it. They're actually doing it.
Didn't it also like leak a banner or something?
I think some.
But I could also just see them trolling when they have journalists visiting Valve. They're just like, let's make a fucking banner and put up, and people are gonna flip the shit.
No.
So we'll see if that ever happens. I've actually gotten to a point where I'm so fucking done with Half-Life 3. Where I was like, can we just stop talking about it until it happens?
Yeah.
Because I mean, I think for a lot of PC players, it's a joke they like, that it's like, oh, it's funny, but I'm just tired of it.
Give it time to come, and when it comes, it's awesome.
Yeah, now I hope that it's gonna come out and it's gonna be shit, so people will shut up.
Just like with the Witch Watchdog.
Yeah,
it was also like people were waiting for a couple of years. Some I think they worked on it for 3 years, and
I think actually more.
Yeah, no, it was 5 years.
Because it was like 2 years since they showed it at E3.
Yeah, exactly. So people were waiting in 2 years, and when it came, it was like, is that it?
Yeah. I remember being at that E3, and everyone flipped their shit over that game, and I was like, looks okay, but like most people were so excited, and I was like, it doesn't look that good, and then it wasn't that good.
Yeah,
it's so weird.
But you haven't played it.
I haven't played it like proper. I played it a couple hours at work and stuff, so not my own save. But I bought it.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
So they got my money. But yeah, let's see the next news piece. Of course, one of the other things is, as we talked about, Project Morpheus has been announced before, but they were talking about it in a way where they were like, oh, it's just sort of a tech demo. We don't even know if it's going to be a product that we're going to come out with, if it comes out when. And I've been to CES where we saw a TV which was without a doubt the best TV I've ever seen in my life, and that was 1080p.
Yeah,
there were 4 and 8K TVs at that CES, and the HD TV was better looking. It just looked insane, and so we were like, hey, when can I buy that? And we knew like this was going to be like several $100,000.
Yeah,
because the TVs they showed, it was like they showed out of like Samsung showed a TV, and
is that for the frame? Because they made a TV which were a frame and it looked just like a painting. And it cost.
It was a Sony TV.
It was a Sony?
Yeah.
Oh.
But Samsung had TVs that they weren't ready and wasn't priced. But the one from the previous year was now priced at like 100,000. So it's like, okay, the Samsung TV is going to be more expensive, and then the Sony TV is going to be more expensive than that. So it was like going to be expensive, but it just looked so good. Like it was really weird because they were at the end of the hall, one of the halls. So you walk through Samsung and Panasonic and Sharp and all that to get to Sony. And then you're like, oh, this TV looks amazing. And then when you got to Sony, it's like, this is crazy as well. And then you walk back, and all of a sudden, all the TVs you thought looked amazing when you got there was just like, okay, whatever.
So Sony
that one, and Sony had other TVs, but that one that they didn't want to talk about was just way better than everything.
That's just weird that you can't. That the resolution of HD is better than 4K.
Yeah, but that just shows the whole fucking thing we're in now. It's the same with cameras and stuff. It's like, oh, it's 20,000 megapixels, and it's like. That was something they had. I think they called it Crystal RGB or something. It was a different way of coloring.
Okay, so
each pixel.
It was a new way of
HD. Yeah, it was. I think it was still LED or OLED, but it was a different technology for the colors, which was It made it look insane because the thing was that there wasn't as many pixels, but each pixel looked better. Like it was sharper and deeper. Like it was black. Yeah. When it was black, like. You can't even imagine.
That's the way to look at a TV. If we want to find good quality, the black can. In most cases, it is never black, but it is as close to black. Then it's the best. That's the TV that you want to buy.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what was the way they talked about Morpheus. They were like, we don't know if it's going to come out, but now they have at GDC had another. I think it was last year they actually showed it off for the first time, and this GDC they're now saying it's coming out first half of 2016. Yeah. I don't know if there's a price on it.
So they got 3 months left.
No, next year.
Oh yeah. 2016.
Yeah. So Vive, they said it's coming out in 2015. So at the end of the year, if it doesn't get delayed, and this is coming out first half of 2016. There's a lot of specs on them which I don't want to read up because it's like the Vive one is supposed to have better. I think that has 2 panels, and they are like full HD each or something. And this and Oculus at the moment are one full HD panel, 120 frames, but it's like we'll see what happens. And my experience with them is that at the end, it's sort of they need to get to a certain level, but after that, it's not the one with the most pixels. Again, just like we talked about the TVs now, that's not going to be. It's going to be the one that first of all, price is going to matter. Yeah. How easy is it to get into? How does it work? Like, will actually getting the games on there, and what games are there?
Have they talked anything about the price?
I don't think so. I don't think they've announced price.
I think I heard last year that the price it didn't surprise me because it was kind of cheap, but it was less.
That was probably the Oculus dev kit.
No, I think it was the Project Morpheus that they spoke about, but
they haven't said anything official about that. So
no, not they didn't tell this is the price, but they say. Around not so much.
Sony hasn't said that, but maybe that was someone who spoke that wasn't allowed to say that. But yeah, we'll have to see about that. That's the thing. Like, how much do you want to spend on that? And how many games are gonna work with that? I guess Valve has an easier way with that, with doing it with Steam, and Sony has it with Morpheus. It's going to be interesting now to see how Oculus Rift does with that, because it matters having the games on there. Sony could just say to their studios, like, you need to make a Morpheus game. But it's also, are you going to drag them away from other projects?
Yeah, exactly, because the thing about the Move controllers was that it was a part of the game, but you didn't have to have a Move controller.